the cost will come down during the next decade. So yeah,
I think the question is going somewhat deeper. There is the big problem that we need to reorganize the way resources are allocated in society in a big way. For instance, as Ben points out, we will replace most of the jobs in retail, or all of them in the near term. We will also replace drivers and so on. We will replace many, many jobs irrevocably. Unlike you, I hope that many of the jobs that have to do with interaction between people will not be done by robots, but can be done by people, because we will have an enormous amount of people that will have a lot of free time and might enjoy interacting with each other and do the things that humans are best at. So especially things like education, nursing, and so on don't need to be done by robots or automated software. These are things where people can really interact with each other. But right now, these things don't make a lot of profit, which is why we have a shortage of labor in these areas. But generally, we have a labor surplus, and that's the issue. So right now, we don't have a societal acceptable way to reroute money into these jobs, because this would mean public employment. If you want to make public employment, it means in some sense that the state has to generate money and has to take out money on another point. It's not because the amount of money needs to be is finite and we need to mine it out of the ground otherwise, but you need to have some kind of balanced economy. So, for instance, inflation is a flat tax on portfolios in some sense. If you manage to raise wages together with inflation, you just melt down the portfolios. This is one way. But we haven't done this in the right way, and the worldwide economy is still in an incredible imbalance and bound to blow up at some point, as most people think. This is one of the issues that we are facing, and this issue is going to be dramatically aggravated with the fact that labor is no longer going to be the primary means of telling people how much bread they are going to have on their table. And it's not because of a shortage of bread. We can have more bread than yesterday. We can have better housing, better transportation, better infrastructure, better everything. We only need to find a decent way to distribute this among people.
Yeah, I mean, one possible outcome is there's like 1,000 really rich people, probably mostly white guys from the West and a few rich Chinese guys. These 1,000 rich people own a bunch of robot factories that mine raw materials and make them luxury goods and deliver to them by drones. Then everyone else is shut out of that economy. Then the Africans are the only ones who survive because they still remember how to do subsistence farming. Right? So, I mean, that's to the extreme, but that is sort of one direction the world economy gradually seems to be going in.
And it's actually very unlikely.
Yeah,
it would mean that, of course, there's going to be another secondary economy. There's going to be riots and so on. I don't think this is going to happen.
Probably
it's
not.
Very unrealistic.
No. Something else will intervene along the way. But for that not to happen, radical changes to economy and society and government policy will have to occur. And
there are some very straightforward changes. One very straightforward change is to have massive increase in public employment.
So who gives universal basic income to the Central African Republic?
I'm not sure if universal basic income is the right solution in general, because right now labor also has another function, it integrates society. And there's a very big danger of right now already in the US, the society is disintegrating along many fault lines. People have the impression that they are no longer part of the same food chain. And this is very dangerous, because ultimately it means war. It means my kids should be fed, your kids cannot be fed. We are in conflict. Before my kids are going to die, yours are going to die. I make sure of that. This is a situation that you don't want to have. So when you see people in Charlottesville in the US running around and yelling, the Jews will not replace us, what they express is they have the impression they are being replaced. They can no longer feed their kids. And you can say that they're despicable and so on, but if you look at the world through their eyes, and they might be most modeling the world, as certainly are, that's their impression. And it's a very dangerous impression to have. And we need to make sure that this doesn't happen. And if you can pay people to be good members of society, for being teachers, students, artists, cooks, whatever people like to do with each other, that is actually a very good thing.
Another point to bring out is when a